But today we're gonna try and build this menu navigation bar. So as you can see, when I hover on the vehicles, there's this nice drop down area that just comes in very nicely. And you can see I can hover on these different buttons and pretty much it. If I go here and hover on the energy, and if I hover on the charge, and see that it has the same aspect. So yeah, so that's what we want to recreate in Framer. And in case you want to follow along, I will link the remix file in the description. And let's get this party started. My name is Joe and this is Framer Dive. Let's get started. So here is the website that we had built before. I have this section here, which is my hero section. As you can see, this is my hero section. And then I have my navigation menu here. And then I have the rest of the website. So, but specifically, we want to focus on this white area, which is our menu or our navigation bar. So if you see our menu, as at the moment, we just have text. When we hover, nothing happens. So this is where we want to start. We want to start by making sure when we hover, we can see a drop down menu. Okay, so what are we gonna do? So the first step, I want you to see what we have here. This is my menu. Okay, and then I want you to focus on this layer, this specific layer, and inside this menu I have this top. Which is my logo. I have the center, which is my menus, and I have the link on the farthest right, which is this one. So what I want to do is I want to add this menu inside another frame or a layout. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on my menu. I'm going to click on this menu and I'm going to hold Control Alt Enter. So we've created a stack. Notice now we have the menu inside a stack. And the problem is this stack is positioned relatively, which is somewhere here. So now, but we want it to be positioned fixed. So we want it to click here fixed, and we want it to be positioned. We're going to put 0 here so that it comes all the way to the top of our desktop. Okay, so make sure it's positioned top, pinned to the top with 0 value. Okay, then the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna call this now the nav bar. Okay, navigation. Okay, so this should be our navigation. So what we want to do now, we have the menu, which is this part, and then now we want to create these other parts. We want to now design this area, where this area here where you can see their cars and their and their text. Okay, so to do that, we're gonna take the menu and then we're gonna duplicate it 2 times. Okay, and then we're gonna call this our sub menu. So the sub menu is the one that we're gonna use to put in the cars. Okay, and then what is happening here, we cannot see the sub menu is because this is kind of pinned to, we have a problem here. You can see the positioning here is set to pinned to the top and relative, so we have a kind of a slight bug, but this should fix it. If we put it absolute, we put it relative again, now you see now it's back. It's kind of a bug that you can fix it just by putting it again. So now we're on to relative, and then we go back to the menu again. You can see it's relative. We have the same issue. We have relative here, but it should be absolute. But there's something wrong with this, because when we're relative, we shouldn't have this structure here. So again, we're gonna click absolute, and then we're gonna do it again relative, and now you see now we have our menu and sub menu arranged well. But now you see they are arranged from left to right, but we want it to be from top to bottom. So come to the mother or the parent frame, which is the navigation, and I want to change the direction from left to right to top to bottom. So this is the direction under the layout area, and I'm gonna change it from top to bottom like that. And then I can see there's a gap between these two. We're gonna kill the gap to 0. Okay, so voila, now we have 2 menu and sub menu. Nothing much, nothing big. So let's go now to the sub menu, And let's get rid of this logo because we don't need it. And then inside here, as you can see, the sub menu is set to fit the content. When you see these two lines, it means that it's set to fit the content inside, which is the center and the links. So I'm gonna go to sub menu and I'm gonna change the height to set it to fixed. I'm gonna adjust the height manually, or I can just adjust it from here. Okay, so now what we have this smaller section here. This is where we're gonna insert our cars and our buttons. Okay, so we can get rid of this link here because we don't need it. And then we have this sensor here, which we can use to actually have something like this area here. Okay, so we don't have to get rid of it as at yet. But now that we have something very much resembling this area, so what now we need to do is now add the content inside it. So I had created a section here that, I had already created something very similar to that, which should help me get things moving quite fast. I have two areas here. I have this grid which has my cars, so this is just a grid with a car, and this is a whole stack. You see, this is a Cybertruck, and this is the button. So this is a stack, meaning they're arranged from like a stack. Okay, and then this is also a stack, this is also a stack, but now all this together form one single grid. So I'm gonna take this grid and I'm gonna hold Control X on my keyboard, which is gonna get rid of it, and I'm gonna paste it inside my sub menu, Control V. Nice. So you can see we have something coming up. Again, I also had this area here, which is also kind of a stack, but now inside the stack we have the bunch of text. Okay, so I'm gonna hold Control X on my keyboard. I'm gonna come and paste it inside this sub menu. Okay, and then I'm gonna come here to this center one and I'm gonna just go delete it. So now, as you can see, we have something quite similar that is coming up, but we still have some tweaks to make, some adjustment on height and the distances between these two. And also notice we also have a divider here at the center. So to create that, I'm just gonna hold F on my keyboard, make sure you have your sub menu clicked, and then you're gonna just draw any single frame, and then we're gonna adjust the height and the width. I'm gonna set the width to be like 2. Notice we just need a slender divider, and then pretty much it. And then the height, we can just make sure that it is set to set to fill. And then now what we're gonna do, we go to the sub, so I'm gonna call this the div, and then we can go to the sub menu and we can put an all-round padding of like 30. Okay, so now as you can see, the divider also goes down, or we can use a padding of like 50. Okay, so this is just about of seeing with your eyes, seeing what fits, what doesn't fit, and trying to find the right solution. So let's go back to our example here, which is a Tesla.com website, and see how it looks like. Notice that this part here is kinda smaller than this part. So this part is like taking 3/4 of the page. It's like taking a quarter of the page, and we also have a significant space on the sides. So that's what we're gonna try and tweak around. And also this divider should be like grayish in color. Okay, so I'd already created a gray color here, which is simply by adding a style. So pretty much it, and then I can so pretty much. And then now let's go back to what we're gonna do. So this part here, notice this part, which is a grid, it's kind of should take like a 3/4 of the page. So to do that, let's go to the width and adjust the width of this grid. So we're gonna make sure it's set to fill, and then we're gonna make sure that it's taking 3/4 of the page. So to do that, what is a quarter of 1? Quarter of 1 is 0.7. So I'm gonna put the 0.7 here, 0.7. And so then again, now we have this quarter of 1 is 0.7, and let's go now here inside and do the same. So what is a quarter of 1? Sorry, this should be a 3/4 of 1. It should be a quarter of 1. So you come here to fill and say what is a quarter of 1, which is around 0.3. Let's just work with 0.3 for now. Okay. Amazing. So now what you see here is that this one is 0.7, this one is 0.3, so it's kind of a quarter-ish, somewhere close. Okay, so but you see what I'm trying to derive to. Okay, again, let's now go to the sub menu, which is the parent, and make sure the width is set to 100% width, so that no matter the size or the width of our desktop, it's gonna adjust. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So now let's see what happens when we view our page. You can see, we have a problem again. We need to make sure that this stretches all the way to the left side. So let's come now to the parent, which is this parent of the submenu, and it is this navigation. So we want to make sure the navigation is not set to fixed, but set to relative width, which is 100%. So now when we view our website again, you can see now it stretches all the way to this. Again, we have another problem here. We need to make sure this is centered to the center, and we need to work the spacing behind on this and this side. So let's make sure, let's go to the sub menu, which is the one that is holding our grid and our stack here. Let's make sure it is space, not space between, but center. Okay, so now we have this at the center, and now when we view our website, as you can see, we still have a slight problem. Okay, so let's go to the grid. So if we check the grid, we also have a maximum width of 900. So this just makes sure that it doesn't go beyond 900 pixels, and also this should have a maximum width of let's just put 400. Okay, so let's make sure it has a maximum width of 400. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now we can go to the padding and adjust the padding accordingly. So the top, I'm gonna put top of 50. This one on the right side, I'm gonna put 100, and then this one on the bottom, I'm gonna put 50. And then on the left, I'm gonna put 100. So now, as you can see, they're squeezing in together, and I'm gonna also get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of this gapping. Okay, so now we could have something coming up really well. Yeah, perfect. Now, as you can see, we have something that is, something nice, and it's coming up really well. So now what's left is for us to add some effect to the button, so that when we hover, we can see it changes in different state, and also when we hover here, we can see the line coming, or there's a line underlined here. So this is just a matter of creating components and mixing up together. So let's do that. So come here to the button here, and I'm gonna click here. This is the land button. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold Control Alt K to create a component, and pretty much just gonna call it LAN. Okay, so Control Alt K. Now we have the LAN. So what we have here is, we want, when we hover on it, we change the color from, as you can see here, we change it from like a light gray to a dark gray. So here we're gonna change the LAN color into black, fully black. Okay, so notice now when we try and hover inside, you can see that it changes color from, it's very subtle, but it does happen like that. So we can do the same for order here. So Control Alt K, you can call this order, and then we can just do the same here on hover. So then we're just gonna have its color to black. Let's change the color here to black. Now when we hover it, you can see it changes to black. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So to do that, you can do the rest for this, which is very much the same. Or you can just take this component that we've just created and hold Control C, and just come inside here into this stack that holds the line in order, and just press Control V, and then we can do the same here, Control C on order, and just paste it inside Control V, and then we can just delete these two, and now we have line in order. So we've just copied and pasted the components that we just created. So now when I hover here, as you can see, we have a nice, very subtle hover effect. Okay, Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then now again, we also now want to do the same for this button. So we can just come here and click this and hold Control Alt K, this, a sub menu. Okay, so now we have the sub menu here, and then now inside here I want you to draw a frame inside here. Okay, so and then I want you to go to the variant here, and then I want you to click here and click layout. And now what we have is that now this is changed into a stack, and I want you to get rid of the gapping, and I want you to make sure that the frame is set to a height of 2, and then I want you to make sure that the width is set to relative, which is 100%. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure that the color is set to black. Okay, so now we're gonna create a hover function here. So we're gonna go back to the primary, and then I'm gonna click the frame, which is the underline, and I'm just gonna make sure that the opacity is set to 0. And then when I go to the hover state, make sure that the opacity is set to 1. We just want to see that normally it's like this, and then when I hover, you can see we have that nice underline coming in very nicely. So when I view my web page, and when I view it like this, when I hover here, you can see it is this nice underline section. Okay, so for you to create the rest of this, you can just do the same thing. Okay, so now let's now go to the other part, which is now creating a background blur. So notice here on the Tesla website, we have a blurry background here. So how do we make sure that this has this nice, background blur? So to do that, I want you to go to the navigation, which is this is our whole navigation menu, and I want you to hold Control Alt Enter. And what this will do, we're gonna create another stack on top of this navigation. And then because this is also part of the navigation, I just call it the main navigation. Okay, let's just call it the main nav. And then we're gonna go and just put it fixed again. Make sure it's set to fixed, and make sure it's pinned to the top with 0. And then let's go to the navigation, which is this. And let's change the type here to absolute to relative. Okay, so make sure it's at this navigation is set to relative. So now inside the main nav, which I want us to adjust the height, come and make sure that the main nav, the one that we've just created, has a height of fixed, and we're gonna put it in a height of 800. Okay, and then so the height actually comes from this part to this part. Then we're going to go to the main nav and make sure that the distribution is set to start, and then the align from the top. Okay, so and then so that this nav bar goes to the top, and then inside this main nav bar, I want you to draw a frame. Okay, draw a frame here, and what you can see, the frame comes to this part. You can see this blue kind of a frame. So but now we want this frame, which is our background blur, to be positioned absolutely, meaning we don't want it to be stacked on top of this navigation. So come here to position and put it to absolutely, and then we want it to be pinned to the top, bottom, right and left with a pin of 0. I'm gonna just put the 0 everywhere, pin it to the top, bottom 0 and right 0. So now what we have, this is where we're gonna put in our background. But notice our background is below the menu, so we're gonna drag it just below the menu. So come to the z-index and make sure it has a z-index of 1, like that. So and then we're gonna get rid of the fill, and then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the styling, and we're gonna add a filter here. I'm gonna put in the background blur. Nice. So voila, that's pretty much it. Okay, so now you can see when we view our website again, we have a background blur here, but again you can see that we still leave in some spaces here. This is because we added another stack, and the stack should also be set to 100% relative width. Okay, so this main nav doesn't have 100% relative width. You can see it's still 100, so we're gonna put it to 100% relative width. and the navigation could be set to fill, which will going to fill the available space. And now as we view a website, we can see we have this nice effect, this nice blurry background. But then as you can see, notice here the background comes only, it leaves some spaces just here. So what you can do, just for the sake of security, just make sure that the blur is, you can even put like 1,000 here, so that just to make sure that, you know, that it covers the whole screen. But yeah, so pretty much it. So you can see now we have this nice blurry background here. Okay, and then we also need to come to the main nav and make sure that the width is also set to 100. Okay, make sure it's also set to 100 like that. Okay, so the blurry takes all this space because of a big screen. So when a screen gets bigger, it can also take much more space. So you can see we can still see the blurry here, as you can see, but that's pretty much it. So now let's go now to the fun part. Okay, so you seen us just building on top of this. It's kind of, we're killing our website, but just take it slow. So this is what we're gonna do, and this is the magic part. Okay, so pretty much what you're gonna do is now the easy part. We're gonna create a component out of this main nav. To create a component, remember, hold Control Alt K on your keyboard. So Control Alt K on your keyboard like this, and create a component and click enter. I'm gonna call it the main nav. So this is my variant 1, which is my first primary. So I'm gonna create a variant 2. I'm gonna create a variant 2 here, and this variant 2 is going to be my opened, let's call this the open nav. Okay, and then this one I'm gonna call it the variant 1. I'm gonna call it the closed nav. Okay, so normally the closed nav, as you can see, is just, you know, just a bunch of text here. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna get rid of all these inside and just be left with this top menu. So click the sub menu and just come here to opacity and lock it all the way to 0, and make sure the background blur is also set all the way to 0. And then, you know, and then we can even yeah, pretty much it. Now I can see we cannot see anything here. And then let's go to the main nav, which is a closed nav, and make sure that the height is set to 64. So now we can see we have a nice closed nav there. And now let's go and adjust it. Let's now like reverse it on the open navigation. So we're gonna make sure that the width again is 1,000 K, so 1,000. And then we're gonna make sure that the navigation, which the menu is okay, and then the now sub menu, we're gonna put opacity to 1, and then you're gonna go to the background blur and we're gonna put opacity to 1. Okay, so now it's pretty much okay. So what we want when we hover on this vehicle stack, which is this, we can click here and get this open navigation. So I'm just gonna click here. Vehicles. So click this stack, okay, this top stack, and come to interactions, and then create a new transition. So when the mouse enters that space, we can see it changes to variant to the open navigation, and pretty much we want it when it leaves this entire navigation, that we can go back to this area here, which to the closed. And it's not just the entire one, but we also have to ignore this background blur. Okay, so we go to so we want it when it leaves the navigation, interaction. So when we choose a new transition, when the mouse leaves, go back to the closed nav bar. Okay, so now when we view a website, when I hover inside, we have a nice interaction, and then I can hover inside like this, and then when I leave, you can see it disappears again like that. So you can see there's a nice interaction. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then also notice this one also comes in very well. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you learned something. Yeah, and we just made the navigation in tesla.com. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you can go ahead and recreate the other areas, like this part here or this part, and pretty much it. Try and practice, improve your skills in Framer, see if you can build more sites. Yeah, so thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next video.